When you hear the name Lamborghini, your mind most likely thinks of high-performance supercars, luxury SUVs, and of course crazy rich owners. But this luxury and status symbol company had a really humble beginning. The Lamborghini automobile company began life as the brainchild of Italian founder Ferruccio Lamborghini. Born in 1916, Ferruccio served as a mechanic in the Italian Royal Air Force during the Second World War before going into business building tractors based on surplus World War II military hardware. But 2 years later, the Allied forces arrived. They took everyone in the garrison as prisoners, including Ferruccio. When they discovered Ferruccio's technical aptitude, they got him to work on fixing their vehicles. And 1 year later, they allowed him to leave. Ferruccio's early years back home were far from blissful. His wife, Clelia, passed away while giving birth to their only child, Tonino. Afterwards, Ferruccio kept himself busy at his workshop, where he mostly fixed pre-war vehicles, lorries and tractors. Now, you might be thinking, how is all this information important for a supercar video? Well, just like the movie, Ferruccio had one of the greatest character developments in human history. One day, Ferruccio received an urgent request from his father that changed the course of his life. "I need a new tractor," Ferruccio's father requested. It was then that Ferruccio was struck with a realization that Italy desperately needed to increase its agricultural production to recover from the war. But it needed better equipment to make that possible. Armed with experience in working with Allied and Axis vehicles, Ferruccio bought leftover military equipment and used them to make new tractors. They were built with an old British Morris engine and modified to run on cheap diesel instead of expensive petrol. They were said to be more affordable and a lot more innovative than anything anyone had seen before. Later, Ferruccio started a new company called Lamborghini Tractors. By the mid-1950s, Lamborghini's tractor company was growing at a rapid rate, and by the time he expanded into constructing boilers and air conditioning systems, Lamborghini had become one of Italy's great industrialists. Ferruccio celebrated his success with good food, fine wine, and fast cars. He even started to collect Jaguars, Mercedes, Maseratis, and Ferrari, but none of them completely satisfied him. He was particularly disappointed with his Ferrari 250 GT, since the clutch would always break down. One day, Ferruccio brought the Ferrari to his mechanic for repairs, where he discovered that the clutch was identical to the one fitted onto one of his tractors. This did not sit well with him, since he paid €10 for the clutch his tractor used, and paid Ferrari €1,000 for the same part. This enraged him, and as a result, he made the decision to inform Enzo Ferrari of the flaws he discovered in Ferrari's vehicles. However, Ferruccio was brushed off by Enzo, who argued that he was the issue rather than the car. "You're a tractor driver, a farmer. You shouldn't complain about my cars. They're the best in the world," said Enzo. To which Ferruccio replied with, "Yes, I'm a farmer, but I'll show you how a sports car should be." Ferruccio returned home that day with a mission to show off his abilities. Many thought he would waste his money and labeled his conquest stupid, but Ferruccio persisted and founded a new business in his honor. In order to establish a factory, he purchased a sizable piece of land and employed 3 of Ferrari's former workers. Ferruccio finished the Lamborghini 350 GT, his first sports vehicle, using his astrological sign as the badge, in just 9 months. With a V12 engine, 5-speed transmission, 4-wheel disc brakes, and 4-wheel independent suspension, it was regarded as a technical marvel. Customers and critics appreciated it when it was initially shown at the Turin Motor Show. Ferruccio disproved Enzo and his skeptics by demonstrating that he was not only a skilled farmer, but also a mechanical wizard who could create exceptional automobiles. It was a smart, elegant, and simple-to-drive vehicle. Over the next few years, Ferruccio's tractor and sports car businesses flourished. When it came to designing new models, Ferruccio gave his engineers freedom to experiment. This leadership style led to his team building the 400 GT and a secret project, the Miura P400. It was the first street racer in history to be built with a mid-engine arrangement at the back. Ferruccio was kept in the dark about it since he opposed the idea of creating race cars. He attended a famous race a few years prior and lost control, crashing into the side of a restaurant. Ferruccio chose not to abandon the concept after learning about it. It proved to be one of his best choices to date. The rear mid-engine arrangement of the Miura, which is regarded as the first supercar in history, set the norm for all high-performance vehicles. Unfortunately, Ferruccio's success came to a halt after facing a series of events beyond his control. A deal to supply Bolivia with 5,000 tractors was cancelled after the country faced a coup. The loss forced Ferruccio to sell his tractor company and 51% of his Automobile Lamborghini shares. Later, the global stock market experienced a dramatic crash, and the OPEC started an oil embargo. It led to increased fuel prices and threw the automotive industry into a crisis. Ferruccio did his best to keep his businesses alive and managed to find buyers for his unsold tractors. He decided to retire early and sold the remaining 49% of his Automobile Lamborghini shares, but he did keep a heating company that he owned and gave it to his son, Tonino. Later, Tonino pivoted towards building a successful fashion and luxury business under the family name. Meanwhile, Automobile Lamborghini's new owners tried but failed to restore the brand. The company was thereafter put into liquidation. A few years later, the Italian government sold it for $3 million to two French billionaires. They wanted to restore the existing Lamborghini facilities and hire fresh engineers. However, they ran out of money and sold the company to Chrysler. Chrysler planned to bring the brand into the United States, but it failed to turn a profit. So they sold the business to an Indonesian conglomerate. While they achieved better sales results, it was insufficient to withstand the Asian financial crisis. Audi purchased the company at that time, recognizing the need for increased focus on operations and product quality. Under their guidance, Lamborghini was able to meet modern-day obstacles and reclaim its market position. Sales increased worldwide, particularly in the United States, after the Gallardo Huracan and Urus SUV concepts were unveiled. In 2019, Lamborghini reported record sales and is now valued at $11 billion. Ferruccio was a farmer and a prisoner of war who turned his tractor business into a sports car empire and then sold it all to enjoy the rest of his days. What a story to tell.